So our second live game this morning is in Canberra at the Canberra Stadium. The game in Pool D, of course, Italy against Tonga. Let's go over now to Canberra and join our commentary team for Italy against Tonga, David Soul and Nigel Starmer-Smith.
Well, it's not meant to be raining, but it is. Never mind, we're in a beautiful city, wide tree-lined boulevards, flower beds, lakes and parklands of Australia's capital city, Canberra, here in the Canberra Stadium as the teams wait to take part in this Pool D game. Home here of the ACT Brumbies, the Rugby League's Canberra Raiders as well, and of course this is the seat of government, a city built back in 1911, especially a city now of 250,000 people, started out as an old sheep station. But it's a beautiful place, but very different in character from the buzz of Sydney and Brisbane. And here are Italy, already, well, given a bit of a whipping by New Zealand in their opening game, no surprise there, but this, I sense, could be a very close, exciting contest as Tonga take to the field for the first time. And alongside me, David Soul. But before the action gets underway, we're going to have the anthems. Here's a Tonga lineup. Well, sad to say in a way that not one of these players plays his rugby in Tonga. 4 in New Zealand, 5 in Australia, 4 in Japan, 2 in Wales. They've got some good players. The captain Afeaki there in the back row. It's an all-Japan club back row. And the Tongan torpedo. Watch out for the name of Fenu Kitao, who played here with ACT Brumbies. Here's Italy. I don't know what John Kerwin's up to. I don't know what is in mind. I don't think this is the best side that he's put out. He's changed it by 14 players from the last game, but the big test is number 10 there, Wakarua. First ever international match is the World Cup. But they've got good players midfield. They've got a great scrum half in Troncon. And they've got a good back line, good three-quarter line, a good team. I'm not so sure. Now the two anthems. Eo tua mafi mafi, O Almighty God above. The Tongan anthem. Now Italy, O Fratelli Italia. Brothers of Italy, wonderful, wonderful singing too, as it seems to be on every occasion. There are the reserves of the two sides. But I just wonder, David Soul, I was saying I can't follow what John Kerwin, the Italian coach, is doing. I mean, has all the makings of a very close game. Italy are hot favourites. I'm not quite sure why.
No, I'm inclined to agree with that. I think he was caught in controversy at the beginning of this tournament because he was threatening to withdraw because they had so many games in quick succession. And he's clearly needing to manage the players in his squad to try and get the best team out for each different match.
Well, we love the challenges laid down by the South Sea Island teams. And here is the one from Tonga. Very friendly, really.
Friendly from where you and I are sitting.
So here are Tonga making their debut in the World Cup 2003. As I said, a side that comes together from all parts of the world. In charge, Steve Walsh of New Zealand. He's been refereeing for 5 years, top flight referee. And, well, there'll be a greasy ball. Conditions not so easy. And Tonga have only ever played Italy once before. That was in the last World Cup. It was a thrilling game, 28-25 to Tonga. Let's hope it's as good a game as that one was tonight. Good crowd here in this magnificent stadium, which is just on the outskirts of Canberra, next to the Australian Institute of Sport, home of Rugby League and Rugby Union, and hosting 4 games as Tonga in the all-red get it underway. Italy, well, can they pull together a team performance? We know they've got individual talent, masterminded by the scrum half, Alessandro Troncon. It's his 81st cap tonight, but it's first possession for Tonga. Big up the middle, Gus Ledger, John Payne, watch for those two in the midfield. And here is Tui Pulutu. Untidy. Get this sort of excited first 10 minutes or so before the teams settle in. We've seen it error strewn in every game virtually so far. That's a good drive by Tonga. And rolling it off inside, deep inside the Italian 22. Whipped away, nicely done with Fonua. Fonua beats one man, bursts the first tackle, just held by Canali, the Italian fullback, just short of the Italy line. What an opening this would be with Fenikitau. Fenikitau on his home patch for 3 seasons here with Brumbies. He's held a good defence. Now the big number 8, Kivalu. Kivalu with Sililo Martins waiting. All those in Wales will be familiar with that name. Martins getting good organisation, good discipline up front, but I say that, and it's Italy who come away with it. Was that late? Fenikitau is going to be penalised here. Tackle on Canali by Fenikitau. Might be in a spot of bother.
Yes, it was very high, very dangerous, and you can see the Italians reacting to that. Parise, I think it was, came in and pulled him off.
Well, there's a man who's known as the Tongan torpedo. And yeah, he certainly caught his arm around his neck, which of course, oh yeah, that is very dangerous. He could be a yellow card early on, I think, if it was seen by the referee as we saw it there. He doesn't see the replay, of course. You don't know to what extent he was shielded, or the touch judge, but that was OTT in every sense.
Well, the referee's having a word with both captains. He actually said to Alessandro Troncon that he ought to just calm his players down. I think he's absolutely right. A very ugly incident earlier on in this tournament between France and Fiji, which has led to the 2-match suspension of Tautau.
His hands in the pocket. Well, this really will upset the crowd, and it's actually filled now. We have a terrific crowd here, and many of them had come just to see this man. One of Australia's great 7-a-side stars. He was only given special permission late on to play for Tonga because he hadn't represented anyone at 15-a-side at a national level. But he was one of the heroes of the ACT Brumbies, and he's off for 10. Just 2 minutes on the clock have gone. Talking of which, David, ACT Brumbies, I was asking around, no one seemed to know what a Brumby was.
Well, I can tell you, Nigel, it's a wild Mustang equivalent of Australia.
Thank you. Right. Down to 14 then, Tonga, after making such a good start up front. But Italy can now take advantage. A man extra in the pack. This is Chonkon, new man, Wakarua. What a day to make your international debut. Remember, there have been all those warm-up matches. Possession again. He was the real shock, of course. But it's back row De Rossi, experienced player. Good back row Italy have here. Strength in depth as well. Coming in on the side, Tonga penalised. Just saying about Wakarua, because the big shock was really that Ramiro Pez, who's now with Leicester at home, was not chosen. He was just dropped cold, having had, of course, the retirement of Diego Dominguez, the lifeline for Italy. David, this is a good early chance. Italy coming back well.
Yeah, showing good discipline there. Good driving, good ball retention. But as you say, the pressure's on this fella now.
And here he is with, well, one of his specialities is kicking. He plays extraordinarily, really. He plays for a second division club out of the Italian top 10, the Super 10. And plays for Leonessa, which is a club in Brescia. And he is their leading kicker, 20 points a game average, so he should be able to slot this. If not Cohen, but we should put him on the park. But here he goes. Cool start to your first game, first points, and Italy lead.
Well, that'll give him a lot of confidence. Nice, easy one to open up with. And you have to say, against the run of play.
Well, a very costly bit of hot-headedness from Feneketau. Really set Tonga back after such a useful, disciplined opening start. Well, an opening is a start, isn't it? 3-0, Italy lead. Troncon. Celilo Martens, perhaps a little optimistic there, is quickly snaffled, but ball's recycled. Talcafa, the link.
And you wonder whether this sort of game is going to turn into other types of games with a sort of, what you might expect, a more disciplined Northern Hemisphere side against a side which probably prefer open, broken play. Islands, South Sea Islanders, of course, love that open play.
Martens, downed by Bortoli. Good Aerostrune again now.
Last forward, advantage ridge.
No advantage. Oh, well, just a little restraint in the end, as it needed to be Vaki there.
Shaping up for it, wasn't he?
Of Valdau proportions. Remember, it's a greasy ball. You can't see now. I think the fine drizzle has stopped altogether, but it's done its damage, really. It's a cool evening.
Yes, it was very heavy earlier on, about half an hour before kickoff.
It's gone round too far.
Good scrum by Italy.
Well, it looked it, didn't it?
Time off.
Well, making a mess here of Tonga's scrummage.
And of course, with the scrum going round, Italy get the benefit of the put-in.
Back on. Crouch and hold. Tight heads, back square. Tight head square, watch you square. Pull it out. Engage.
Alessandro Troncon. World record number of caps at halfbacks with Diego Dominguez. Tonga powerful off the back row. Now with Tui Pulutu. Canali waits. Mark called. Tap and run. Man outside is Delan, unmarked on the wing. This could be a useful setup. He's gone on for the switch. Misunderstanding with Fanua in with the tackle, but still possession retained by Manuel Delan. That's the brother of the charge down. Troncon on the retreat. Good chance really going wasted there. But ball is still there for Italy. Excellent clearance by Canali.
Well, nice bit of improvisation by the fullback, taking a long kick by Tonga. This is the clearance here, but Delan did terrifically well. Just didn't quite capitalise on it, unfortunately.
Short line out Tonga. Tokafa, one of an all Sydney club front row that Tonga field. Two from northern suburbs like Tokafa, one from eastern suburbs, getting their professional earnings overseas, all this squad. Only 4 home-based players in the 30. Untidy there, gathered up by the captain, Inoki Afeaki.
In the tackle zone, let's stand here.
Offside by Italy. Fringing. Steve Walsh in charge.
Number 3 entering the tackle zone.
If you've just joined us, welcome to Canberra. Tonga's first appearance in the World Cup. Had a man sin-binned in the 2nd minute. They're 3-0 down, a penalty to Italy. Canali for Italy now on the burst. Matsukatu coming inside. And that's the new fly half, Wakarua. Covering is Pierre Holek. A lot expected of this young man. Is that going to carry? No, he has to play it, hoping that it would go over the goal line and they get a scrummage back. Bit of a slice, but safe. Hola there, who's well, just come through the ranks, now playing his rugby for Kobe Steel in Japan, but highly regarded.
Well, interesting enough, Afeaki seems to have warmed up on the touchline. I just wonder if they're going to replace Fenu Kitau.
Yes, you're right, he's down there. Afeaki from Ponsonby Club. Meanwhile, Italy nicely slipped onto Matsukatu. Matsukatu with Delan outside. Good smother tackle saves the day for Tonga. And it was good cover from Tui Pulutu with the 2 bald-headed Italians so close to scoring the opening try.
Well, you sense Italy should have made a little bit more of that. Matsukatu perhaps should have come off his wing a little bit earlier.
Tonga. Good take by Milton Nguamo. His brother Johnny, many will have seen play in the UK. And he's on the bench tonight, 2 Nguamo brothers. Penalty, Tonga. Makings of an exciting game here. 2 sides who will take the chances. We'll play a bit of adventurous, risky rugby, which will entertain a good crowd who've come here to watch, by and large, neutrals, of course.
Yes, it's a pretty impressive turnout, actually. This stadium holds 25,000. It's well over half full, I'd say.
Yes, indeed. That's terrific. Troncon, good play. De Rossi, they work well together. De Rossi steps out of the tackle. Can he link now? He's got men out wide. Tonga just again to the rescue in their own 22, and they've turned it over, but not legally. roll clear.
Here it is.
Now, will they run? Will Chongkong go for a quick one? The Italian captain, he thinks better of it and opts for points on the board. Goes for the 3.
Well, it all started from a lovely steal by the Italians, and then De Rossi, who was so impressive in the RBS Six Nations Championship, bumped off that Tongan defender. And then they just needed to recycle. Now, Tonga, guilty of slowing the ball down. Now, I think this sort of situation is where a yellow card should come. If they're professionally stopping quick release of the ball, that's when the referee should use the yellow cards.
So here is Arima Wakaroa. He's 27 now. And the shot selection in the Italian World Cup squad. Auckland born, I should add. Spent most of his life in Italy. Here he is now. Turns away, knows he's got it. Good kick. Well, already Cohen perhaps justifying his selection. And 2 out of 2, 6-0. Italy worthy of that.
Yes, they had an uncomfortable first few minutes, but they're settling down into their rhythm, playing with a lot more assurance. John Cohen quoted in the Sydney Morning Herald saying they're going to play like they drive. Unpredictable, no sense of fear.
Frightened the life out of everyone else. Yes, you're quite right. It's Stanley Afiaki who's come on, so the 10 minutes has been served, and Feni Kutau is off. Offside. Here's a penalty chance for Tonga.
Well, I wonder if Feni Kutau was injured, actually.
It could have happened as well. It didn't appear obvious, but maybe so, because he would have, I'd suggested, one of the the key strengths in their side. I don't think they'd have lost him voluntarily. That was a bit of a mess. Afiaki is on though, nevertheless. So you have brothers playing on either flank in the back row. Stanley, the younger brother of the captain Inoki. And here, Tui Pelotu with his first kick at goal. He's the record point scorer for Tonga, and he's the man Italy will remember only too well. Kicked the drop goal to beat Italy in the last World Cup. Now in his 3rd World Cup at 31, and you'll have seen him perhaps at home in colours of Leeds and Worcester. Very successful there, but now with Parramatta. And New Zealand born and plays for Tonga. There you are, that completes it all. And what a mess he's made of that. Dear oh dear. And all that build-up I gave him. It's a drop goal attempt. Oh, what a kick! Just wide, my word, the full-back, Pierre Hola. My goodness me, that would have been, well, of Rob Andrew against, well, Cup quarter-final dimensions. Look at this, off the left foot.
Only about 2 metres inside the Italian half, and he definitely had the distance.
That would have been swift compensation for that appalling mess that Tui Pelotu made. Well, I said he was a bit special. He's the man who kicked, can you believe it, 17 conversions out of 17 in the World Cup qualifier against Korea. So if Tui Pelotu's not doing too well, they've got a man I think they might have used first. 17 out of 17, I've never seen that. And here comes Wakarua now, with from the left wing Dennis Deland. Out wide is the other wing, and Matsukatu getting the pass from Kanali into the 22. He's going well, Matsukatu. A lot of experience on the wings. They're almost overcrowding themselves at times. Les Azzurri. And they've lost it. Turnover by Tonga. Needed that too. There's Hula. Not in touch. Parisi. Powerful run. Well, there's lots of adventure from both sides here. And here's a breakaway by Ledger. Gus Ledger. Covering is Dalan. Dennis Dalan, the winger, back there. That's a big kick. Enormous kick from Whakarua. Gracious me, well, he's certainly getting into the rhythm of things at international level.
But a super piece of covering by Dennis Delan. He had a lot of work to do there. Look how he goes down on it. He gets up as quickly as he possibly can. But then the Tongans defenders come in and he does a squeeze ball through his legs. Italy able to recycle that very quickly. And a lovely clearance kick by Whakarua.
Looks like the number 8's injured. We'll see. A lot of adventure, a lot for the crowd to enjoy here, and well, I like the positive way they both approach the game.
Well, Italy, despite being fairly comprehensively beaten by the All Blacks last week, they've come out again with a tremendous amount of assurance, self-assurance and confidence. They're really up for this match.
See, I can't forget, it wasn't that long ago, was it? I mean, in the Six Nations, how well they played at Murrayfield. And that's why I thought that was going to be the foundation of the World Cup squad. And of course, it's nothing like it.
Are you picking on the Scots?
No, you won.
They beat the Welsh as well this year.
They did indeed. It's just they played particularly well at Murrayfield, I thought. Nothing personal, David. Here's Delan. This is Dennis again. It's gone forward up him as the tackle came in, and then Nguamo and here having a bit of a dust-up. Go away, says referee Walsh. Cellular Martens, Tui Palutu. Floated from the fly half, clever, Tui Palutu. See, what's interesting, I mean, I've seen both these sides play a lot of sevens, and in seven-a-side rugby, Tonga would wipe out Italy. So where do you think the key difference is at 15s?
Another 8 people, probably.
That's what it is.
There's a lot less space, and defences are so important, and the Italians are pretty well drilled defensively, and I think that does actually close down a lot of the opportunities that the Tongans would like to take advantage of.
David Soul alongside me. The captains of World Rugby and of Scotland. Here's Parise then, setting it up just outside Italy's 22. Back to Whakarua. Clever. He's not lacking confidence, this young lad. Oh, has he got the luck of the bounce? Not quite. He's not a knock-on either. Hula. That's a big kick, but not in touch, anything like. I think that's Parise back there. It's a good back row. He's run into trouble, but he's only 20, this guy. Second youngest person in the World Cup tournament, Parise. And here's a debutant, no, without an E. Look at that kick. Really pinning Tonga back. He's looking a class act at the moment, isn't he? Maybe a very clever selection by Kerwin.
Well, he's certainly playing with a lot of confidence this evening, and in what can be quite difficult conditions. The Tongans very aggressive and very quick up in defence. Confident enough to step inside, have a little break, and his kicking's been excellent.
They've never really solved the problem since the retirement of Diego Dominguez, who of course was the Argentine-born legend he became in Italy's jersey. Pez, yes, but not of that calibre. They wanted someone new, and Kerwin's taken the plunge with Whakarua. So far, so good. 6-0, Italy lead, coming up to the midway point of this first half. That's his opposite number, Tui Palutu. Having a reasonable clearance.
Well, I think the Italian back row has been particularly impressive this evening. Parise, Persico and De Rossi, all great ball carriers. And when you think that they've got Bergamasco and Matt Phillips on the bench, who are terrific players themselves, they've got a lot of strength and depth in this area.
Troncon, Whakarua, crossing. Oh, forward. Sorry. Yes, it is a back row of great power. And there, Fenikitau may, as you can see, clearly have injured perhaps a shoulder, maybe an AC joint, something like that. So that wasn't clear as he went off, but it's a bad blow for Tonga. He really has been a key man, the Tongan torpedo. Disappointment certainly for the crowd here who loved him as an ACT Brumby in the Super 12s. Italy again, Bortolami, another youngster, 23 in the second row. Don't often come that young. Now Troncon, good linking, Persico. And as David Soul said, the back row really becoming very significant in this. Canale, now the hooker, Ongaro, went forward. So advantage being played for Tonga now. They need some too. They're on their own 22 and they're under the cosh a bit in terms of possession. Lack of. Tuipulotu. Back goes Delan. Cross comes Canale. It's rolled and to play still. No foot in touch by Delan. Close call.
Well, he'll be kicking himself. He had Canale on the inside. He might have been better with an inside pass there. But just signs that the Italian scrummager are beginning to get to dominate these Tongans. And of course, if you've got a back row which is rampant, then it's rather ominous.
Well, Martin's just really made a mess of that. But recovery is good. Fonua now getting the pass from the hooker. That's Tokafa. Martin's back in position. Tuipulotu. Hula. Referee just helping someone get out of trouble. Manuel Delan. Big hit from De Rossi right on the gain line. Martens. Tuipulotu. Oof. John Payne this time, upended. No half measures, some of these tackles. Spinning through is Milton Nguamo. Crowd, I sense, perhaps favouring Tonga more than Italy. Did that? No advantage coming. Player coming in from the side, Italian, penalised.
Well, good refereeing by Mr. Walsh, allowing the advantage to run, and no clear advantage coming from Tonga.
Member of the Leeds club, born in New Zealand, ex-Petone, that's Wellington area.
I haven't stopped play, go.
Good back row, got De Rossi born in Italy, Parisi born in La Plata in Argentina, and Persico born in New Zealand. Multicultural side is Italy. But they all qualify, of course.
Yeah, we're playing line out. Let's go, please. Oh, he did.
Pierre Hola. Well, Tonga just love their rugby. They've only got, well, they've got less than 8,000 players in all. Very popular with the women too there, and almost 3,000 women playing rugby in Tonga, which is about as many as, well, most countries who play a women's game.
It's a very scary thought.
Up the middle, John Payne. Now, Tonga, can they come back? Although they've had so little possession, they're only 6 points to 0 down. 24 minutes into this first half. So delighted, such good support here, terrific crowd, good noise, great atmosphere, and a fabulous stadium. Now it's a penalty. Now then.
Well, that was interesting by Martins. He recognised that he had the advantage of a penalty and just threw the ball to the ground, knocking it on. Just take the 3 points, thanks very much.
Talking of Martins and recognition, I wonder if many of you at home will realise this is the same guy who's a soap star in Wales on S4C in a programme called Poboli Cwm, which means people of the valleys, and he really has become quite a star down there playing with Bridgend. Now here he is in the action in his rugby jersey this time, not the makeup.
There he is, he picks it up.
That's the man who's one of the soap stars of the UK. Of course, had a couple of seasons with Swansea, now with Bridgend, and Celtic Warriors when he gets back. Popular figure, the Valleys. Tuipulotu, they want to do better than he did last time. Dreadful attempt. Well, it was better, but not good enough to get any points. 0 out of 2. Big disappointment there. Really, at this level, you've got to get 70%, and that was pretty straightforward for most kickers. That's an extra leg. Martins played against Italy in the last World Cup. Canali chasing his own kick ahead. Oh! Knock on. Big error. Just closes his eyes in irritation with himself.
Yes, and it's gifted a position to Italy. There it is. Not a difficult kick by any means. There's no pressure on him, really.
One of those horrible moments. Forget it. Get on. His opposite number now, Alessandro Troncon to Wakarua. Done this to one centre, feeds it to Christian Stoica. Now recycled well. Here's De Rossi, always close to the action. Good layback. Troncon. He hasn't got a winger out there, he didn't spot that. Only the number 8, Parisi. But it went forward anyway.
Yeah, that's frustrating for Italy. De Rossi doing good work, getting over the game line. Such a big, strong runner on the ball. Someone tried to lift it from the layback and knocked it on.
Got to hold, waiting, blue.
26th cap for Italy tonight. De Rossi. Tassico, similar experience, over 30 in caps, not in age. Martins, Tuipulotu. Nice flight on the ball, good screw.
One or two injuries. Kivalu's down on the Tongan 22.
Big Ben-Hur Kivalu, 6'5", 17'4". Another World Cup experience last time. Part of an all-Japanese club back row. They say that's where the money is, and obviously a huge attraction to South Sea Islanders. And of course, we could talk for eternity about the problems for the game itself, the International Rugby Board, with so many players who are lured away and creating problems, which happened here, of course, with Tonga. Players who weren't able to get the time off, rugby league stars from Bradford Bulls, and people like Epi Taione from Newcastle, Tamalolo from Harlequins, Fino Maka. It is a pity. The solution not easy to find. Guess who? De Rossi, the back row is Parisi. They really are working well. They're beginning to control the game here, the back row. Now wider with Manuel Delan. Offside against Tonga, already called. Advantage Italy. This is Dennis Delan. No advantage coming. It's going to be 3 points, surely, in front of the post for Wakarua.
Well, again, that a little bit frustrating for the Italians there. Great play by De Rossi, though. And I think number 8, Parisi. They really are coming into this game. This is where they tried to move it wide, and good defence by the Tongans. Dalan wrapped up well and truly in the centre.
They are great tackles. Tremendous defensive sevens, and obviously replicated on the 15-a-side field. But quite a few of these have come through the 7th circuit. Well, it should be 9-0, which gives them a nice little buffer, Italy, here with 29 minutes played. Here's Wakarua. 3 out of 3, they've settled for that.
Definitely, they're just keeping the scoreboard ticking over. Keep the game going. And virtually every time they're getting up into the 22, they're coming back with some points. Okay, it's a penalty, but nonetheless, they're stretching their lead, which is so important.
Here come Tonga then. One's tempted to ask sort of the quiz question, what have the following three players got in common? Lomu, Ofahangawe, Totai Kefu, all born in Tonga. So much talent has come out of these islands, but of course so much of it has ended up in someone else's national jersey. So the score at 9-0 here, about 10 minutes to play. Just a reminder, we've obviously got more action coming up, and at 1 o'clock you'll be able to see Manu Samoa versus Uruguay. That game to be played in Perth. So that adds to our bill of action today. Here come Italy then out of defence. Bit of a slice that from Christian Stoica. And don't forget, of course, we have a great website with all the news and information you could possibly want. www.itv.com/RWC. It's all there.
You're going to know that off by heart by the end of this tournament, aren't you, Nigel?
I still have to read it. I'm getting there. Italy's 22. 9-0. Remember, it was 28-25 4 years ago. These two ranked so closely together, 12th and 13th in the world. Tonga, I hasten to add, are the 12th ranked, Italy 13th. But it doesn't mean a great deal, particularly as they haven't played each other for 4 years. Close now, though. 9-0 it may be, but here come Tonga. Tuipulotu via John Payne. Crash ball is well worked but well tackled. Defence is good in both sides. The big Kivalu, Ben-Hur Kivalu. Men out wide, crowded though on this narrow side. So they check, come back with Gus Ledger. Long feed, 3-3. This is the number 8, Kivalu again. Inside Italy's 22. Still the Reds, the Tongans, have possession. Now with Ledger. It's 4-1. What a... Oh, that's a ridiculous delay. He had 3 men clear outside. They've got a penalty. Italy are offside. But David, that was a try, wasn't it?
Well,
back for the pass.
It should have been. It was absolutely criminal. He had, as you say, it was a 4-on-1 overlap, and he decided to take the man on. What on earth was he thinking of?
Glory, perhaps. Self-glory. They've got a penalty. They're 9-0 down. Repeat infringement, and Chonkon is told to warn the number 5, especially Bortolami, for offside. And they opt to go for 7 points, not the 3. David?
Well, I'd be a great fan of changing the kicker. I think, you know, 3 points. There's only 9. They're only 9 points ahead. They haven't been brilliantly secure in their line out. The ball's slippery. I think it's a high-risk strategy.
Will they get their reward? They have the line out, they have the throw-in, of course. They go around the front, and it didn't work. It wasn't straight. Well, there's the waste. Trying to get Kivalu around the front.
Well, nice idea, but well, let's see. Here he comes.
Well, he slipped, didn't he? Ben-Hur didn't slip normally, did he? But Ben-Hur Kivalu did.
There was plenty of cover there. I don't know whether he'd have got over in any case.
Italy's scrum, the break off by Parise. Now it's dispossessed, and Tonga surely can make something from here. They're under the post with free ball. They have it. They're split to either side, the backs. But have they lost it? It's been stolen back again. Someone's ripped it. No, they haven't. It's still come. Hola goes for the glory on the line. It's bouncing. It's still not gone forward. It's still in play. I thought Hola was through. Someone surely now must. Hola again is holed up. Now Martins. Yes, with Payne. John Payne, but it's going to be the television match official again. They're celebrating, but it may be A little early for that. It's going to go to the television official, Donald Courtney. Well, he seems to be, every time we come and he's on duty, he seems to have an awful lot of work to do.
Well, he had a bit of a nightmare in Townsville, apparently. He flooded 3 bedrooms because he left a tap on. He then went in and had a rub, and he took about half an hour making his mind up on 2 dodgy tries.
Now then, what about this one? Try.
Well, was his foot in touch?
No. Well, the crowd have given it.
Well, he was a lot quicker on it that time, wasn't he?
Try given. And so, Tonga, good time to score, 6 minutes before half-time.
And you sense the majority of this side, or this crowd, supporting Tonga.
Well,
John Payne with the try.
Can I tell you something else? That's his first ever try. Good arena in which to score it. Here he goes. Just managed to... He had that, didn't he? Dexterity. Managed to keep himself sufficiently far in field. Could see what was going to happen. Good score. Good excitement here. Can Tuipulotu get his kicking boots on? This from the touchline, of course. That's a kick and a half. Oh. Isn't it crazy? I mean, he has 2 soft ones, then he gets one as difficult as could be. Brilliant. 9-7, we've got a match.
And it's really set the crowd alight as well. Very straightforward, just a 2-on-1, really. Mazzucato could do nothing about that. Had to take the first man, and rely on the cover, and the cover just wasn't there quick enough.
Well, the crowd especially liking that, because John Payne is born and bred in Sydney. In fact, went to the same school as George Smith, one of the Wallaby stars. And his first visit to Tonga was in the qualifying games of the Rugby World Cup. 9-7. Less than 5 minutes of the half to go. Well, I thought Tonga were very generously priced at 3-1 against. Could have had an even money bet with Tonga getting quite a big start in points, which on Italy's team selection and recent record I thought was pretty generous in the side. But of course, one of the problems which we've seen just happen there is sometimes there's a lack of discipline amongst the forwards. They do give away penalties, do give away possession when they get excitable.
There's still quite a lot of time before the large lady gets up to the platform to sing.
It's wondering what you were talking about for a minute. Yes. The fat one, you mean? Right.
That's the one.
We've got a penalty for that offside decision. So Remo Wakarua, very successful so far. 3 kicks at goal, 3 penalties, 9 points. And in a way, this is the first real pressure kick, because Tonga have got to within 2 points. And we're approaching half-time. Italy would like to go in with a lead of 5 points rather than 2. So the 27-year-old from Brescia, his first cap. It's well struck, but just past the left-hand upright. It stays 9-7.
Well, interesting. I think I would have possibly opted for a kick in the corner, the way that the Italians had caught and drive so effectively at the previous line out to win that penalty. Especially given that it was on the wrong side for Wakarua, but there we go.
Invitation for Italy to make the play. Parise on the counter after Canales' pass. Alessandro Troncon, great servant of Italian rugby, clever player. Perhaps not the same without Diego Dominguez. 2 elements greater than the individual parts, or the whole rather. Dropped by Dalan, Dennis Dalan, counter-attack by Fonua. They love the counter-attack. Here's Afeaki. Hafeaki on with Tui Ifua over the halfway. We've got an injury with Holo having gone down, the Tongan fullback. Martens, Tui Polotu. Wide open space, beautifully angled, that's some kick. Cultured boot from Tui Polotu, class from the 31-year-old.
Yeah, it's a lovely kick by the fly half. Put his side in a terrific attacking position. It's a picture of Hula.
Hula, yes. Well, they can afford to lose him. Anyone else come to that? Ongaro waits. Been close rival with Pastuccia. Quite a few hookers around the world. A player who, let's look at Holo again. Player Ongaro, who started out in the back row. And mobility has become such a key part. Some of those flanker qualities are required of the hooker these days. Tronco sets it back deep to Wakarua. Almost a charge. It came off the hand, I think, of the Tongan challenger. The referee has told the judge it did, and so it's going to be Italy's throw-in. Little bit of good fortune for them. Martins, I think it was, who challenged. Yeah. Hola's back in action. The drive held up, the ball lost forward, and off goes Nguamo. Milton Nguamo, clung to by Delape. Martens, Kivalu. Pick and drive. Effiaki, the captain, within 5 meters now of the Italian line. We're into the last few seconds of this first half. It's 9-7 Italy. Martens, Tuipulotu, mismove in the centre, not a great pass, but clever pop ball to John Payne. Still in that 22, but lost, and that might be the last flourish for Tonga in this half. It's a big clearance that rolls inevitably to that far touchline, to the disappointment of Tongan supporters and players. It is the final play of this first half, thoroughly entertaining, and as we said, well, it's a close one. So it's half-time, Italy 9, Tonga 7. We'll be back with you after this short break.
It's 9-7 in Canberra at half-time. Italy against Tonga. They're just about to start the second half. So let's go and hand straight over to Canberra and our commentary team of David Soul and Nigel Starmer-Smith.
Yes, Italy-Tonga part 2, and it's buzzing here tonight. 9-7, you can see there the scoreline. And David Soul, yes, the panel were talking about lots of errors, but I think perhaps we should stress it's not an easy ball to handle, is it?
No, there was a torrential downpour about half an hour before this match kicked off, and obviously the surface is still very greasy, and it makes it very difficult for handling, especially when you see some of these big tackles going in, just to control the ball when it's a little bit damp.
Well, Italy, yes, I guess still marginally favourites, but remember with Tonga, tackling is king. They can defend. Can they keep their discipline? Can they get a bit more possession? It's a big clearance from Pierre Hola. And what an atmosphere that's been generated here by a largely neutral crowd, but they're thoroughly enjoying it, as are we all.
I think the Italians really need to get to grips with these Tongan forwards, dominate the lineouts, dominate the scrums, and allow their rampant back row to dominate the game.
Won that time well enough by Delape, tallest man on the field, 6'7". Up the middle goes De Rossi. He's been my man of the match so far. Here's Chonkon. Wakarua, oh, I was about to say having an excellent debut, but well, perhaps took his eye off the ball there.
Back here, please.
First real error, I think, from the fly half, I can recall.
Back here, please.
And coming in out of nowhere, in a sense. Second division rugby in Italy.
Stay down, number 3. Engage.
But Tonga
Use that.
get the scrummage. Italy wheel them right the way round. It's not used in time, so Italy will get the put in.
Yes, intelligent scrumming by the Italians. able to do pretty much what they want with this Tongan 8. That time wheeling it round the 90, so they get the put in. Good attacking position.
Does tend to be the Achilles heel, doesn't it, of the Pacific Island sides?
Yeah, Fiji under a lot of pressure, even from the United States pack earlier today.
Chong Kong, 30 now. Gets the return pass. Kanali at pace, just lays it off well. Beautifully picked up by Parisi. Parisi has Matsukatu for the corner. The cover's in from Ola. Great build-up. Good defence, but some lovely interplay there and support play.
Yeah, fantastic interplay. Little back row move. Up comes Kanali, and there's the big number 8. He's had a super game this evening. Manages to get his pass away. And Matsukato, he ducked inside the tackle. I wonder whether he'd been better really going for the line rather than worrying about the contact. And from that point, he was always going to be bundled into touch.
He's a big fellow on the wing, 6'1", nearly 15 stone. Came on as replacement against Tonga when they met last time. The only time we've got an injury, though. This is Kivalu. Some way upfield, big number 8. I say big because they really have a massive trio in the back row at 6'5" each, 6'6" in fact, Efeaki. This is Kivalu. Played in the second row when they played Italy last time.
His mum and dad liked the film too.
There's got to be a funny line there somewhere, I can't think of it. But sadly, more importantly, it's Ben-Hur Kivalu who's going off for attention. So the line out, perilously close to Tonga's own line, but there's obstruction by Italy. Shayalatu, second row forward, another from Manly, the Sydney club, who's come on as replacement for Kivalu. So a bit of a let-off really, one way or another for Tonga. Cleared by Ola. This is the incident, you can see he's obstructed. Full penalty, so Tonga's throw in. Taukafa. Martens. Crash ball, John Payne up the middle, penalty in the side, come Italy.
The man came in the side, he kicked it with his foot.
Big physical presence, big power, unafraid are Tonga. Another injury though, I think it's, is that Payne?
Yeah, the try scorer. Again, a little bit of indiscipline by the Italians. They get into good positions. There was no question that Tonga were going to do anything dramatic from that sort of position. Good tackle there by Persico. And then you see well, I don't know whether he was dragged in, but he obviously went in at the side rather than from the back of the ruck, and that's where he's got to go. De Rossi, the man penalised. There he is.
There's no doubt at all that I was wondering beforehand whether not having Mauro Bergamasco in this Italian back row was not a crass error from John Cohen. Far from it. It looks like this is their real strength. De Rossi, Parise, Persico.
Well, I think when you consider that Phillips is on the bench as well as Bergamasco, Parise has been particularly impressive. He's looked very aggressive on the ball, been a good ball carrier, made one or two mistakes, but I think haven't everybody.
Second youngest man in the tournament. He was only 20 on the 12th of September, just past. And here he is, making a big impact in the middle of the back row. 6'5", 16.5 stone. Didn't play in the Six Nations, but he's the second youngest in the World Cup. The very youngest is only 19 from Georgia, Kashvili. And we have replacement standing by, who will be Johnny Nguamo. Not as yet though. Nguamo goes back to the bench. plays his current rugby in France, formerly Harlequin, now 34, getting a last fling at a World Cup, but he's still off the field. As pain continues. Flipped out to Martins, Tuipulotu. Momentum lost there, a bit static. Ledger, past Canali. Solid clearance under a lot of pressure there, Canali. Just got a bit of a twinge by the look of it.
Yes, well cleared, interesting hairstyle there. Much the same as your own, Nigel, I think.
Go faster stripes, those are.
Is that what it is?
Yes. And I need those. Latu up highest. Martins nearly lost it. Chonkon using the narrow side with Dalan, the paceman out wide. Martins covers. David Soul was talking about my hair. I would describe his, but there isn't a great deal of it. He's had one of those Andre Agassi cuts.
Just as well I'm not envisioned, otherwise my wife will kill me.
No, it goes very well on you. Another bad hair day. There's Dalan, Dennis Dalan of Treviso, the younger brother of Manuel, who's playing alongside him in the centre, but we've got a further injury here, and one of the Tongan players upfield, as Kivalo is poised to come back into the action.
There must have been a blood injury, I think, for the big number 8.
Latu driving through. Now is he the one on the receiving end? By the look of it, yes. Latu comes off and Kivalu back on. So a blood replacement.
Well, the clock obviously stopped now for this injury. The referee standing over him, wondering what the problem is. It's very difficult to see who it is down there.
It is. Yeah, it's Afiaki, the captain. Well, got back up pretty sprightly manner, didn't he? Crowd loved that, and relief all round. Long breaks in sight. The Mexican wave, do they not? Do you like Mexican waves, David?
I'm not a great fan of them.
Now a wave of red shirts as Tonga take on Italy over the halfway. Martins poised to link. Well, we saw how many times that bounced. Ledger, though, gets it eventually. Bit lateral and crowded back. Crossfield by Italy. Martins, ball was clear, it's fair enough. The knock-on just, I think, by De Rossi, but not blown for. Maybe obscured from the referee's vision. Italy have advantage for hands in the ruck by Tonga. Quickly taken, Chonkon. Chonkon knows he can't be impeded fairly. The drive into it, Tonga's 22. Chonkon once more, wide with Rokurua. Didn't have pace really wide enough out. I think it was the prop, Lo Chichiro, who was on the end of that move. It was not ideal, but should be able to set it up again. It's all a bit mayhem-like at the moment.
Well, you're absolutely right. It was Lo Chichiro on the wing. Not the most comfortable place for a loose head prop to be, with no one in support, but as a consequence he's been held up and the ball's been turned over because it went into a maul. There we go. Oh, that's actually the centre. Stoica going up.
Tonga have the feed. 26-year-old Celilo Martens about to join Gareth Cooper as rival scrum halves with Celtic Warriors. Italy penalised.
Well, it was loose-head prop look Tutero again. The referee saying that he was driving in, boring in on the tight head. It's very difficult not to when you're on top of the scrum like Italy seem to be at the moment.
Hola finds a good touch. Tonga's throw to follow. So this Pool D with Italy and Tonga, Wales, Canada, and of course New Zealand. But quite a battle for runners-up spot, one would assume. New Zealand must be such heavily odds-on favourites. In fact, they're about sort of 100 to 1 on, I think, to win this pool. But Tonga, Canada, Wales, Italy, very competitive. Here's Manuel Delan. Low Cicero. Man on the ground kicking the ball. Advantage being played for what would otherwise be a penalty. That's what they'll get, because that's a mark called in the Tongan 22 by Ola.
Well, again, enormously frustrating for the Italians, that. And again, you know, I said in the first half that sort of professional fouls preventing the ball coming out. I think that's where the referee should be using the yellow card. And, you know, if that was a professional foul, he was stopping the ball coming out, preventing an Italian attack. I reckon he should be off the park for 10 minutes.
Stanley Afeaki, younger brother of the captain. Okay. So they put the ball in touch about 10 metres out from Tonga's line. Now there's going to be words with the two captains, Afeaki and Tronkon, perhaps about repeated infringements.
2 minutes ago, we got a lot of penalties in the second half. It's not going to continue. I will go to my pocket if it continues. You can tell your players.
Well, that was it. He's going to bring out yellow cards if there's persistent infringement at the Rock and Mall. So, he obviously heard me.
Well, it's been spoiling, hasn't it, the game and the fluency, and I think particularly working against Italy, actually. But Italy now have control here. And still they go forward. It's within 2-3 metres. Tronkon now. De Rossi. Don't underestimate Tonga's defence, but they may have a problem. Wakarua on the burst, and through is Manuel Delan. Well taken. Big thanks to the pack.
Well, I think you're right. It was the driving of that man De Rossi again who set it up, and then the Italians able to recycle it quickly. Wakarua took a few steps, and a beautiful line with Delan, just a little bit straighter, still drifting out, and that exploited the gap. And see the delight on his face. Now Wakarua, he starts committing, just shows, and a lovely straight line by Delan.
Added points from Arima Wakarua, and that gap now 9 points to Italy, and that's what it means to score in the World Cup. From Treviso, Manuel Delan of the frizzy hair, and the delight for quite a crowd here of Italian supporters. They lead 16-7, 10 minutes into the second half. Italia, maybe you can hear the chant. Well, they've come from behind in the first half, Tonga. Gauntlet thrown down to them now. Not forward.
To be there, scrum, blue ball.
Well, that's not what they need. They needed to win that ball back from the kick-off. Instead, they've conceded possession to Italy. They're looking very, very comfortable in the scrum.
Red, set. Have a go, you're on. Engage. Steady here, stay down. Stay down!
Tronkon, Wakarua. Well, they're gunning for him, but he got the kick away. Delan chasing hard, but eluding the grasp was Fonua. from Martens. Parise. Good catch, good mark, sensible option.
Well, that's confidence for you from a number 8 marking inside the 22.
Chonkon. It's a very good kick indeed from that narrow angle, but quickly taken into Hola. Another Gary Owen. Called well, saw how Perstico left it for De Rossi. Such good understanding, this back row. Mightily impressive. Delan adds a little weight. Chonkon feeds. Wakarua behind Tuifua in his 22. Not a bad clearance either from the Tongan winger. But I'm impressed with Wakarua, you know. You wouldn't think he'd not played any first-class rugby, really, let alone international.
No, that's right. He seems to have a very calm head on those shoulders. Lovely angled kick. The ball skidded tight to the touchline and forced Tonga to kick to touch. But he seems very composed in the fly-half position.
Makes you wonder where he's been till now, because he's been in Italy since, well, 7 years ago now, 5 years ago now, and played with Brescia and Rovato. Second-class rugby, but according to John Cohen, they have been watching him for the last couple of years, but obviously judged this was the time to bring him in after Pez had not impressed.
Well, clearly he'll have to step up to a first division club if he wants to make this number 10 shirt his own.
Tonga's put into the scrum just inside their own half. That's the 10-metre line. There's Ben-Hur Kivalu. Martens rescued it well. Good graft from the scrum half. Martens again. Tuipalutu, little chip and chase. But the chase and the catch is into the hands of Christian Stoiker. But there'd been an earlier infringement.
Let's do it. Thank you. Knock on.
A knock on. So the replacement is made of Johnny Nguamo, who comes on in the centre for the other centre, not John Payne, this time Gus Ledger. So Johnny Nguamo at 34 gets another touch of international rugby. Only 3 major internationals up till today. Former Harlequin, now with Montferrand. Martens, Tuipalutu. Canali having to turn again. Now, will it stop short? Took it well on the bounce, on the retreat. And this young fullback has also looked impressive tonight. Just 20. Was in this year's Under-21 World Cup. Played out in midsummer in the UK, in England, in Oxfordshire. Which was tremendously entertaining at times. Now, what's happened there? The tap penalty quickly taken anyway to Italy. Persico now to the backs. Well, the forwards there first. Chonkon looking more confident all the time. Manuel Delan, the try scorer, couldn't get it away in time. Hard blocked by Payne. This is Lo Cicero. They bounce off prop forwards and down. Hopefully not out. Is that the? I think it's the back row, isn't it? Kivalu again.
No, he's not. Your scrub, the screen's out.
Well, he's only had recently come back on after earlier knock. Took a big bang there.
Well, Lo Cicero, he goes in. Terrifically aggressive challenge, and he just goes down like a sack of tatties, doesn't he? I hope he's not badly injured.
Well, it's pretty immovable object. Or is it the irrepressible force that is Lo Cicero, 18.5 stone. Currently on loan to Lazio. He's had a lot of troubles, disputes with Stade Toulousain, his club, and this Sicilian is one of the hard men of Italian rugby. Nothing illegal about what he did, but on the receiving end was the luckless Tongan number 8.
No, absolutely right. There's nothing sinister about it at all. Ivalu came in very aggressively, as the Tongans frequently do, and just hit his head or one.
So we have the efficient medical backup here, the mobile stretcher already on hand, and they will always take every precaution, and we saw that with David Giffen in the Australian opening match, happily with none of the fears realised that we had at the time when it looked like a really bad injury, and the concussion from which he recovered quite smartly. But this again requires patience and difficult for the players.
Yes, I think in that opening game of the World Cup it sort of lost a bit of momentum with the injury to David Giffen, and it can very often do that when you have such a long delay. Clearly they need to make the time to make sure that the neck brace is on properly and that the player's recovered and he's comfortable and secure to be moved. You do begin to lose a little bit of momentum, don't you?
Yes. Well, the usual generous sympathetic applause and all the good wishes of the crowd and everyone else, of course, go without saying, as Kivalu this time retires for good and Ushaya Latu comes on to replace him as he did earlier. Italy's ball then on the restart. Correction required. In fact, it is Afeaki who has gone off, the Tongan captain. We saw the angled picture, which looked like it was the number 8 and a very similar build. Inoki Afeaki is the injured Tongan player who has gone off for special treatment, and of course doubly significant because he is also the captain of Tonga.
Got to hold. Waiting. Engage. Steady.
John Payne will take over the centre as captain. He's vice captain of the squad. Martens, Hola, back goes Matsukatu, Kanali comes up, the two collide. Well, in a sense they could hardly call it, but here's a chance now with Tonga on the way. Tuifua, he couldn't push him out, he scored. Tevita Tuifua scores his first try for Tonga. Manuel Delan tried to push him out, but that has brought them right back into the game. And of course a lot to do with that was the collision upfield of the two Italians in defence, who both went for the same ball through. But no stopping this flying wing three-quarter who plays his rugby for Auckland. Watch this.
Well, it was poor defence really. Tuifua goes on to the outside, and Manuel Delan, I think if he'd gone for the corner flag he would have given himself another 5 yards to actually force him into touch. But a push with 5 yards to go was never going to stop him. Well balanced, good strength, lovely score. Tonga right back in this match.
16-12 to Italy. And Canali, the Italian fullback, is rather groggily back to his feet. He and Dennis Delan had collided and put them out of the game, crucially. This to get within 2 points then for Tuipulotu. Ball went before he started his run-up, says referee Steve Walsh.
You've got to hurry though, you've got 15 seconds. 15.
So, here's Tuipulotu now. Will it come in? No, it stayed way out. It's not been a good night for him. Only one success with the early conversion, but he's missed now that conversion and 2 penalties. But it's 16-12. Within a score, Tonga have come back again. All the makings of a game as tight and as close as it was the only previous occasion that they've met. World Cup 99, 28-25.
Let's go, just fall. Wait, three. Wait. 3.
So the referee just remonstrating with Lavaka, the Tongan tight head prop. He's told him to wait, but he was offside. Referee saying he warned him twice and he still kept running from an offside position into an even more offside position.
What's 3 in Tongan? He might have understood that.
34-year-old Himani Lavaka. Still some trouble for Gonzalo Canali. An infringement that might cost Tonga dear here. They've got within 4 points, but they now have to face the unerring boot of Rima Owakarua. Again a clean strike and again on target. Well, it's turning into something of a dream debut for the Italian fly half, Rima Owakarua.
And with 20 minutes or so to go, you wonder what John Kerwin's thinking in terms of whether he can bring on some impact players from his bench just to up the pace and up the work rate and dominate the final quarter of this match.
Yes, about 19 minutes remain. Italy 19, Tonga 12. No hatful of tries, but Tonga immediate target will be to stay within those 7 points and thereby get a bonus point even if they were to lose by that margin. They have to get within 7 or less of the winning side to claim a point.
Yeah.
But they won't be thinking in those terms. They want a converted try at least to get on terms. 2 points for a draw, 4 for a win. And an extra point if you can score 4 tries, win or lose.
All right, let's take our time. No, waiting. Read, take a step
But the balance hasn't swung
I'll give you time.
definitively, has it, either way, David?
Engage. Let's go.
You just get a sense that Tonga have a little bit of momentum with that last try there.
They've got a penalty as well now.
He wasn't. No.
Trying to catch what Steve Walsh said then as to the reason for that penalty.
I thought it was Alessandro Troncon trying to rip the ball away. Found himself in an offside position.
And Tonga, to the delight of the crowd, pass over the chance of the kick at goal and play it into touch inside the Italian 22.
Well, the way the goal kicking's gone tonight, that's probably not a bad idea.
Surprised they've stuck with Tuipulotu. Pierre Hola has the best record. Scored over 151 points for Tonga as well. So it's not just been a fluke occasion in a qualifying match. Now they try and get something out of the lineup, but Italy, big blue wall in defence. But a lot of support getting behind Tonga now. They're well in that 22, they're dragging men out to get possession and still putting the weight on, trying to get some momentum into the drive, but it's static, they're held. Still there, smuggled round the fringe. Ball there somewhere. Too late. Big Lea Ayatoa, and the opportunity gone.
Yeah, he's furious with himself. There he goes in, tries to rip the ball out, and then drops it.
I mean, that's sad. Yeah, justifiable reaction, I'd say.
Maybe should have used his feet instead, I think.
20.5 stone of Tonga Lea Ayatoa. Now Italy take it on. Troncon, Wakarua. Safe enough.
Interesting tactic by the Italians that time. They did a little bit of a back row move, drove in, gave Wakarua a little bit more space to get that clearance kick in.
Poor throw, advantage taken by Bortolami for Italy against the throw. Now De Rossi, Andrea De Rossi from Treviso. Troncon, same club. Oh, that's good running. This is Canali in the line and wide out to Matsukatu. Held up on the line. Troncon dives in for him, but doesn't get it. Right on the line. Good work with the Stoica, Matsukatu. Now they're going the other way. This is Manuel Delan. They've got men wide to the left. Have they the pace out there? Back inside is Parise. But there's going to be a penalty against Milton and Guamo. Well, will this be a yellow card? Will this be repeated infringement for yellow card? Yes, it is. He'd given them a warning. Milton and Guamo. Well, there was lovely play prior to that, wasn't there? They deserved more than the 3 points, really, with Christian Stoica and Matsukatu combining so well.
Yes, and again, set up by the big fella De Rossi. He's just so powerful. He drove up into the midfield, which created space out wide. And Matsukata, I thought he was almost going to have enough momentum to slide over in the corner. So they did well to recycle it. Caught Tonga offside in the midfield to set up this very straightforward opportunity.
3 penalties in the first half, a conversion and penalty in the second, and now a further penalty that might be absolutely vital to their cause. 22 points to 12. First time, I think I'm right in saying they've been 10 points ahead. 9 in the first half was most till now, and that, with the player Sinbind as well, might just spell the end of Tonga's challenge. Kekinato is poised to come on, the veteran second row for Italy, to win his 78th cap, and well, he's certainly been around a long time. Carlo Kekinato. Now, is there going to be some great finale by Tonga? Santiago Delape is the player replaced. Wakarua.
Well, his kicking from hand has been absolutely superb this evening. A very tight angle there, and he's driven Tonga right back into their own half, making it very difficult to attack from, you know, really quite a long way away from the Italian try line.
It's not as if he's been blooded over a period. I mean, he was called up literally at the last minute for Pez after the disappointments against Scotland and Ireland and a late win against Georgia. Literally a very late replacement, and out of nowhere to a most impressive debut international, Wakarua. 22-12, and about 13-12 minutes to go.
Well, that's extraordinary. He's given a yellow card to Ongaro for the challenge after that free kick. I think he said it was high, maybe perhaps a swinging arm.
It was clear that referee was losing his patience earlier in this half. He'd warned in the first half about repeated infringements, and I think he felt that if he didn't do anything, it would just slip from his grasp. Here we go. Well,
I think that's harsh.
I do.
The ball carrier ducked into it, and I think he was trying to wrap his arm around it. It wasn't a swinging arm intentionally. Well,
No.
I didn't think so.
No, it appeared the player just came down, and now we've got obviously to have a hooker on the pitch, so it's Marcy.
Well, I think the Italians will wait until they get to a scrum before they do a switch of the back row.
Tonga revitalised now, they're back at 14 a man aside. Big drive, Martin's on hand, not slip, but there's weight behind the player. Held up short, Tuipulotu. Big defence by Italy right on their own goal line, held them up. They come again though, they've still got possession. Now with the props, Lavaca. 14 against 14. Still time if they can get something now. They slip away with the ball once more. Dramatic things going on here. On the bounce to Hola, but a knock on. Hola.
Well, it's all action stuff. Terrific defence by Italy. They got a hold of that Tongan maul and drove it back 10 yards. Brilliant work by the tight five there. Tonga desperately trying to recycle it. And then this long pass out to Ola, who knocked on.
Well, a couple of injuries meanwhile, but it's certainly given the crowd huge thrills here amidst the spills, and all is repaired.
Stay down.
Wakarua.
Good defence again by Wakarua, able to clear his lines. Leave a bit of pressure. Italy have been on the rack for the last 5 minutes.
Chongkong. Well, it's not a deliberate mismove. Kicked through by Manuel Dalan. Hola. Clean catch. Chongkong did well. Under a lot of pressure there. Fired out to Dennis Dalan. Slipping the tackle is Christian Stoiker. Well, he's been a star for Italy in his time, Stoiker. New to the Montpellier club now. Stoiker, of course, of Romanian ancestry. That is an enormous kick down the line. Brilliant.
What a fantastic kick by Wakarua. He was actually the only person out there on the left, so there was pretty much nothing but a kick. But he's drilled it down into the Tongan half. Put Italy in a fabulous position again.
Well, replacements coming on thick and fast. Here's Kisipulu coming on at prop, I think, for Lea Ayatoa. About 8 minutes remaining. Just wonder if that wasn't the golden chance for Tonga that eluded them down in the Italian 22 that would have brought them back in. But the breakthrough, Dennis Delan, where did he come from? Well, that does seal it, I'm sure. The man who's recovered after hernia injuries that made his World Cup so much in doubt, suddenly, out of nowhere, out of the ruck, sprints the winger from Treviso, and he adds to his brother's vital try. Dennis Delan this time, and that surely is curtains for Tonga.
Quite extraordinary. He must have just ripped it out. There's no one home.
Stunned crowd and stunned Tongan players as Dennis Delan, well, extraordinary try, but absolutely critical to the outcome, that surely. Suddenly, from such a tight game, they've swept ahead to 27-12, and Wakarua won't miss this. Well, they've certainly answered the call at number 10, 29-12, and to think how close it has been for so long with that opportunity Tonga had only moments before. No wonder that Italian players and supporters are overjoyed.
Well, there were some question marks over John Cohen's selection of this side earlier on. They've certainly answered his call, and they've been like Italian drivers, haven't they? They've played with no sense of fear whatsoever. Absolutely tenacious. Come up with two or three brilliant scores.
Perugini comes on as a replacement for Leandro Castro Giovanni. Yes, I mean, Cohen clearly knew what was intended and what he felt these players could fulfill.
Play on!
Thoroughly entertaining evening rather. Ryanuku kicks through. Canali. Young talent this man has, but not giving up a Tonga. Salilo Martins, tough play on his opposite number, Troncon. Tuipalutu acting scrum half. Hula shrugs off one tackle, looks for the slip pass to Marcy.
Number 1 lost it forward when he went
Knocked
down
forward
the ball.
by Italy. Well, if you've enjoyed this one, I'm sure you'll be looking forward to what's coming up on this channel at 1 o'clock, when you'll be able to see Manu Samoa against Uruguay. That game to be played in Perth. So we've still plenty of rugby action to come for you at home this morning. And as ever, don't forget all the Rugby World Cup details on our website at itv.com/RWC. Here, just about 5 minutes remain in a game that has entertained the crowd, frustrated the Tongans at times and the Italians too, but for all the little errors, it's been a good advertisement for World Cup rugby as these two sides from opposite sides of the world meet, and that's what the Cup's all about, really.
Yes, and the crowd will have had a fantastic evening. They've been right behind what you might call the underdogs in the Tongans, and they've seen some great rugby. A few mistakes in the first half, but it's been absolutely scintillating stuff.
You keep your binding up here. Don't go in.
Salilo Martins, more to be seen of him in the jersey of the Celtic Warriors.
Engage. Keep it up.
And the World Cup is over. Some way off yet. Kivalu with the setup. Irrepressible at times, the Tongans, as in the IRB7s, so here at 15s. Trying hard, but a bit fast and loose here. That went forward, I'm afraid, off John Payne.
Yeah, it's desperation stakes now for Tonga. Trying to pull something out of the bag to get a little bit closer. Any thoughts of a bonus point looking quite a long way away now.
Hold. Stay down.
Still, of course, one should re-emphasise without Milton Nguamo, who was yellow carded, so they really are up against it on a survival course at the moment. Pierre Hollard unceremoniously dumped. And Nguamo, in fact, has seen out his time, so they've got, what, 4 minutes in which to do something dramatic. Can't see them really getting close to that Italian scoreline now, but their target would be to get within 7 points, to get a bonus point. That's unlikely too. But they're trying. Tuipulotu, Nguamo. There's a gap. Good work by Nguamo coming back on. Slips it on to his partner, Vaki. Vaki with Kisipulu. Fine flourish from Tonga in these dying minutes. Tuipulotu now with pain. Fonua, good cover from Italy. Their defence has been pretty solid.
Yes, it has. Great Italian defence. Good covering by Dennis Delan there, saying he'll have the outside man. But this victory, and you have to say it's going to be a victory, has been really, the foundation of it has been laid by the Italian tight five in their back row. I think they've been absolutely outstanding this evening.
Italy have possession, the Azzurri in sight of victory, and Wakarua's kicking out of hand, as we commented earlier, has been quite outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And I can't help but reiterate, this is his very first international, and he's come out of second division rugby, and we asked the question, where on earth has this man come from? As Kerwin, you know, lost a marble or two, but clearly he knew exactly what he was doing. But I don't know why he didn't bring him in before, if he's this good. And again,
well, it's an ideal tournament to give him an opportunity to blood some of his younger players. And when you think he's got Sergio Parise as well, great exposure for these fellas. Get a little bit of experience under their belt, and they can take that back, the RBS Six Nations Championship, and
well, it's been very bold. I mean, he's got people like, you mentioned those two, and Bortolami in the second row, Canali at full-back, all these young 20s. Mirko Bergamasco, the latest in this flurry of replacements, which has become the norm in 15-a-side rugby sometimes. Bergamasco, the 20-year-old, another of John Kerwin's young bloods. Well, they're trying to keep it alive, Tonga, in desperation. Just cannot afford to put it out of play. Martens, little chip through, it's a knock-on. So the advantage here, almost recovered. I think it was by Johnny Nguamo. There's no one there. Oh, well, lovely moment there when Lo Chichiro saw the ball in front of him and thought, well, can I pick this up now? But someone booted it through.
And it's interestingly enough, I think Mirko Bergamasco has gone into the back row where his brother normally plays.
Yes, he's a wing three-quarter, of course, Mirko, and Mauro is the back row. There was all that hoo-ha, wasn't there, about Mauro, and didn't want to play on the wing and wanted to play flank, and obviously fell out of favour, finally came back, and this is the reverse situation.
And I think what's happened is they've kept Festucci on because they had to replace Ongaro when they came to the scrums, so...
Yeah.
John Kerwin making all sorts of experiments this evening.
And it's Festucci to throw in. We're into the last normal minute of time, including injuries, and that's a great run coming through now with Andre Marcy to the corner, the cover from Nduku. Dennis Delan. What a way to finish for Italy. Celebrations all round. Dennis Delan.
Lovely break through the middle there by the replacement Andrea Massi. And he actually had a look outside. Dennis Delan was in a position to take a pass. Here he is, he has a look outside. I think he wondered where Canale was. And in the end, it was Dennis Delan who had the pace to outstrip the Tongan winger. Pick up his second try for the evening.
6 in all for Italy. Tidy play from Andrea Marcy. That beautifully weighted chip through. Difficult to accomplish at full tilt. And Delan perfectly placed at full speed. To seal it in style for Italy here. Would he cap it? He has. Can you believe it? Rima Wakarua, with a brilliant individual performance at fly half, has answered all the questions, and I guess Kerwin too has answered all the questions. Wakarua, 3 penalties in the first half, 2 more in the second, plus the conversions of 2 further tries. A fine performance by Italy, who end up with a convincing win against rivals Tonga by 36 points to 12. The final score here in Canberra, an enthralling game. I'm sure you've enjoyed it as much as David and I have. We'll be back for some reaction after this break.